Section 2 of Who Was Who by Irwin L. Gordon. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Sean McGahey.
Alan Davis Drake.
Jim.
Who was who? B. Baby. T-H-E. An unscrupulous tyrant. Son of father and mother. His first appearance caused heaven at home and an idiotic father. Education. At home. Career. A series of adventures. Was frequently ill, a poor sleeper, toy demolisher, throat exerciser, nurse distractor, and a general nuisance. Despite his shortcomings, he ruled home with an iron hand. A tear caused a doctor, a smile meant a gold mine. Diet, principally liquid. Ambition, the moon. Recreation, coaching, hair pulling, a proud father. Address, see mother.
Bacchus, patron saint of most men, benefactor, a jolly good fellow, and the founding of the morning after feeling. Studied vine raising when a young man, discovered that grapes were not intended for a food, invented the greatest pleasure and pain giver the world has ever seen, became a traveller, introduced ale and stout in England, whisky in Scotland, everything in Ireland, cocktails and patent medicines in the United States, beer in Germany, champagne in France, absinthe in France, and vodka in Russia. Career magnificent. Recreation, Paris. Address, Greece. Clubs, all, except WCTU. Epitaph, he will live in the throats of his countrymen.
Bacon, Francis. Either wrote or did not write Shakespeare.
Baedeker, Karl, one of the most versatile men who ever lived. Childhood and old age unknown. Formed an ambition to travel when quite young. First visited Switzerland, where he climbed every peak, walked every path, hired every guide, and did everything a tourist should do. His field of travel widened until every country in Europe was visited, as well as the United States, Canada, Alaska, and Mexico. In these lands he slept in every hotel, ate every dish in every restaurant, drank every wine, rode on every boat, tramway, subway, and train, visited every ruin, museum, art gallery, church, store, mastered every language, science, art, literature, custom, history, and drew maps and plans of everything. Publications, Baedeker's. Recreation, staying at home. Ambition, tourists. Residence, Germany.
Balfour, Arthur James of England. One time leader of the talking forces of the House of Commons. Ambition, opposition seats on both sides of the House, and an epitaph over the Home Rule Bill. Recreation, St. Andrew's Golf, and writing deep books.
Balzac, H. A Frenchman who wrote a few Parisian stories which may be discussed in respectable company.
Barbarossa, Kaiser, the only emperor of Germany who ever went to sleep.
Bacchus, fame rested only upon his complete willingness.
Barleycorn, John, an eminent citizen of the world, spent early days in the fields, breweries, and distilleries, later resided in cellars. John had a red nose, was a great friend of Bacchus. He was a wasser, he is an isser, and he will be a will-beer. Ambition? The end of temperance societies.
Barnum, Phineas T., fathered the introduction of the peanut, the clown, and the beautiful bareback riders. As a sideshow, he taught that some Americans were progressives part of the time, that other Americans were Republicans all the time, but that all Americans were not Democrats all the time.
Barry, Madame Dieu, writer's model, former Queen of France, was a great friend of Louis XV and helped make the dances at Versailles a success. She always preferred Marcel waves to pompadours. Ambition, to have and to hold. Address, see Louis. Clubs, anti-suffragette.
Bartholomew, an unfortunate saint who was skinned alive, patron of gold mine investors and American tourists in Europe.
Beard, blue, inventor of an original method to dispose of wives, before Reno was discovered.
Beatrice, a Florentine girl who gained fame by refusing the suit of a love-sick poet. Later, she conducted him through heaven and made arrangements for his travels in the other place. B died a famous old maid. Ambition, a lover with money. Epitaph, she might have been Mrs. Dante had she wanted to.
Beecham, a celebrated pill-roller.
Bell, Alexander Graham, inventor of a well-known necessity and nuisance. Started the saying, "Number, please."
Belshazzar, an old king whose handwriting on the wall proved to be correct.
Benedict, saint, the man who introduced Benedictine and monks into Europe, also gave his name to Benedicts.
Berlitz, the man who will teach you how to say it in everything.
Bernhardt, Sarah, an ancient French actress. Sarah was born before birth records were inaugurated, and no historian has been able to determine her age. Career: on the stage at 4 months. During her young woman and good-looking days, Herd B is said to have made a hit with the European nobility. In her declining years, she made a few other fortunes in the United States. B's fame culminated in having several cigars, perfumes, perspiration powders, and a theatre named after her. Ambition, the fountain of youth. Recreation, statuary, acting. Address, private cars and 56 Boulevard Pereire, Paris. She also has a telephone.
Bill, Buffalo, alias W. F. Cody, the delight of the American boy. He began his career shooting buffaloes and Indians on the plains of the West and ended it shooting glass balls for a fortune in a tent. Installed the "I want to be a cowboy" ambition in the hearts of young America. He also made a goatee and a big hat famous. Played the show market a little too long.
Billiken, a funny little fellow who did not wear many clothes and made people laugh.
Bismarck, a German who was a greater politician than any island has ever produced. He built an empire, crowned an emperor, changed the Frenchmen in Alsace-Lorraine into Dutchmen, and made the Paris Mint work overtime for his country. Quite unpopular in France. Ambition, made in Germany.
Blackstone, a rock upon which a legal ship may be foundered.
Blériot, benefactor of humanity, idol of the tourist, and enemy of navigation. Blériot discovered a method of crossing the English Channel without being seasick.
Blücher, a Dutchman who was on the job at Waterloo. He also was not the only German general who ever fought France.
Bonaparte Joe, just Nap's brother, see him.
Bonheur Rosa, a lady French artist who wore men's clothes. Being an old maid, she painted animals, but never mastered the parrot or the cat. Her endeavors were confined to horses, and one of her paintings is considered fair.
Booth General William, founder of a vast army, which never fought a battle, made a retreat, or surrendered, conducted campaigns in Great Britain and the United States, with brass bands and collection devices. The army later became a suffragette institution, when women were admitted as recruits, and placed a sentry to guard